is so multifaceted. One thing is, and they're very, the sword in the middle and the arrows pointing both ways. They want to know everything, and I think that people need to understand that in the United States, all of their effort with Jade Helm should be directed outside towards America's real threats, the tragedy of felonious aliens being released. I'm talking about now ones that have been imprisoned in the United States, the murders we've watched take the country by storm, the seemingly silence from the administration, the Justice Department, and others. Then we're dealing with the whole idea of the human domain. I'll make it real simple. They want to know everything about everyone. I challenge all the cyber attacks. I don't believe it's some ominous group of Russian hackers. The Russian hackers are too smart, and all hackers, they want money. They don't want this data information out. Information could be sold on the black market, credit cards, etc. But what's troubling to me about Jade Helm, and as you know, I'm a pretty outspoken opponent of it, never in the history of the United States have special operations under basically every different branch of the service been brought together for nighttime exercises. And do you remember, George, when they basically were saying, even to the police departments and 9/11 and sheriff's departments, if you hear any gunfire, don't respond.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people are terrified around the country, and rightly so, and God bless Texas. In my opinion, they have one of the most astute governors who basically says, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I'll verify it. Remember when Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify? And it's troubling to me that, let me give you a quote from someone, and then we'll obviously know who it is. He said, how fortunate for governments that the people they administer don't think. Well, that's Adolf Hitler. So one of the things with Jade Helm is the multitudinous, different ways they're coming at us with so much data. And so I believe that it's designed to also be a cover for the positioning of troops throughout the country. It's not just the original 7 states and it's expanded into 15 states, but there's something else going on. And everybody's been postulating from earthquakes, obviously the Russian intrusions into our airspace. Russia all of a sudden went from being a partner to now being the number one defined enemy, which I categorically reject. The number one enemy of the American people seems to be those who are making war on it. And my question is, since when did 238,000 dead veterans become the enemy? Since when did the middle class, who's pretty much wiped out, become the enemy? Since when did our heritage demand the erasure of the entire, if you will, Civil War? And there's two, sides of the Civil War. Now, also, I maintain that it's borders, language, culture. That's Michael Savage's quote. I believe our borders are destroyed. I believe our language is definitely languishing. And also, our culture is being taken apart piece by piece. A famous statement made by someone in authority basically said, America's the greatest country in the world, and we intend to change all that. I was reading Drudge's headlines, and do you see Drudge's headlines tonight on the top left corner?
I sure did, yeah.
You know, what has happened to this country? We're seeing the most extreme indications that everyone other than them, meaning them, are the proponents of a new world order, of the globalist government. We're hearing all these reports, and they're real reports, about the Trans-Pacific Partnership and all of the different events going on. Then we've got the three-ring circus of how many people have thrown their hat in the ring for the Republican nomination, and only one, in my opinion, is telling it like it is. You know, and I think we can go with a statement, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Well, the only guy I see telling the truth is Donald Trump. And look, this isn't a political speech, it's just this. Look at how all of the rats want to get on his case for saying what, and I'm not just talking about John McCain, I'm talking about the immigrant issue, and something's got to be done. Now, the intentional positioning, and I think you're reading the same stories I am, that the integration of everyone from Africans to Muslims from all over the country being selectively introduced to over 24, 25 key cities, Well, that's a direct, I believe, assault upon the middle class and upon the American citizens. So Jade Helm is a multifaceted exercise in which they're checking everyone's response. Obviously, my words will be scrutinized. Your words will be scrutinized. They're trying to get the general psychological response of the people that are defining their concerns. Now, I think it's tragic that we're seeing United Nations vehicles. The sovereignty of the United Nations is going to disappear. Some people don't like that statement. I hate it. I love this country. I love what it stood for. I love what it was. But just as a Confederate flag has been made now an object of ridicule, divorced from history. Look, I'm not saying what it stood for is all that good, but what I'm saying is, again, our national identity, our national landmarks, everything is being changed, turned into a World Heritage Site, or whatever they want to call it under Agenda 21. So Jade Helm, to me, is the military arm of the complete takeover through the identification and eradication of the American citizens. We all know Larry Graithwall, the FBI agent who penetrated the Weather Underground. Mm-hmm. And, he made the statement back in the time he did that there was plans to murder 30 or 40 million Americans. Most people simply can't get their mind around that we would actually be now, instead of the land of the home, or the land and home of the free and the brave, that now we have been turned into a bunch of criminals and knaves in the eyes of those globalists who basically, if you love the freedoms that were given to us under the Bill of Rights, the constitutional guarantees, we become a lawless nation now, and a nation that becomes lawless is capable of incredible and dangerous slaughter of its inhabitants.